the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Please be seated. It's been a long time since I've preached on the fourth Sunday of Easter, the day in our church calendar affectionately known as Good Shepherd Sunday. This is because my former parish had a Sunday school program called the Catechesis of the Good Shepherd. The church stood just down the lane from Codman Farm with its beds of organic fruits and vegetables, coops of free-range chicken and fresh eggs, and herds of fluffy white sheep whose wool would be shorn in a townwide festival each year. On Good Shepherd Sunday, our littlest ones would be led out of their classrooms and down the path to Codman Farm to look at the sheep and learn about God through the central metaphor of Jesus, the Good Shepherd, who lovingly gathers us, patiently leads us, who seeks us when we are lost, who calls us each by name. Meanwhile, back in the sanctuary, in lieu of a sermon, the congregation would take part in a creative, interactive lesson from our Catechesis of the Good Shepherd that invited the grown-ups to wonder with open hearts and curiosity of children about Jesus, the Good Shepherd, and what it means to be part of his flock. All this is to say that Good Shepherd Sunday was a light day for clergy. It also served as a helpful reminder to me that there is one Good Shepherd, Jesus, and that as priest and rector, I am not the shepherd. I am what is known as a bellwether. A bellwether refers to a single sheep, a member of the flock, that has been selected to lead the rest in following the shepherd. So the shepherd hangs a bell around the neck of this lead sheep to make it easier for the others to follow. And if the flock wanders too far away, the shepherd can always find it, even when it's out of sight, by listening for that bell. So, being the bellwether is a rather humbling responsibility. If I do my job reasonably well, you will find Jesus the Good Shepherd by sticking close to me and to each other. And by extension, Jesus will find this flock if it gets lost, because I'm making this noise he wants me to make and you are listening. Preaching is the bell around my neck. So here it is, the ringing of the bell in response to our readings on Good Shepherd Sunday. The poetry of Revelation with its image of Jesus the Lamb at the center of the throne, who becomes the shepherd, guiding the multitude from every tribe and people and language to the springs of the water of life. The confident words of Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." And finally, this strange short section from the 10th chapter of John's Gospel, in which Jesus is surrounded by those who want to know once and for all if he is the Messiah. And he says to them a dangerous thing. You aren't hearing what I've been saying to you all along. You don't believe your own eyes and ears because you don't belong to me. And he goes on to say, the Father and I are one, which is so provocative that the men around him pick up rocks in order to stone him for blasphemy. So while there is sweetness and comfort in the readings for Good Shepherd Sunday, it's not all fluffy sheep and Crayola green meadows. You know, there are shadows in our story, and enemies, and tears that beg to be wiped away, and spiteful behavior that works against the goodness of love. Such is the thematic complexity of Good Shepherd Sunday, a complexity accented this year because today is Mother's Day, which is easy for some and hard for others. It is also the baptism day of Pendleton Mason Reese, our brand new little Christian to be, all robed in white. Add to this the fact that Good Shepherd Sunday falls in a week that saw both the wedding of one child of this parish, Walker Steers, and the funeral of another child of this parish, Lisa Edwards, who died far too young, and the ordination of a parishioner, Susie McNiff, to the Sacred Order of Deacons yesterday morning by our bishop, who carried his shepherd's crook as a sign of his office. Such is the life of our church. Priests wear the bell, bishops carry the shepherd's crook, but it is the flock that recognizes the voice of the Good Shepherd and follows. It is the flock that knows in the midst of life we are in death, in the midst of death we are in life. And as we listen for the ringing of the bell and the voice of Jesus calling all of us to follow, we remember that day by day, year by year, beloved children of God have been shepherded here in this church, in sweetness and in sorrow. Here we are told to fear no evil. Here we are taught to pray for our enemies. Here we are helped to see that indeed our cup runneth over. Here we are made to lie down in green pastures and rest our souls, and then after we rest for a little while, the Good Shepherd gets us up to lead us and guide us in paths of righteousness out there in the world. Here he prepares a table for us and anoints our head with oil and holds us fast so that no one shall snatch us away. This is where we gather to hear not about the life to come after we die, but about the resurrection life we are to live right now, about the goodness and mercy of God that pursues us and propels us right now. And whether or not this strikes your ears as an urgent matter on this particular rainy Good Shepherd Sunday, every member of this flock has a stake in the vitality and direction of our shared future. So here it is. This is what I've been leading toward. Next Sunday is our annual meeting, right here at Christ Church. We are required each year to hold a public forum and elect our leaders and present our budget, and that can sound kind of dry and businesslike for people who come to be fed and watered at the spring of life. But I assure you that it is as much a part of hearing the voice of our Good Shepherd as anything else we do together. We must determine not if we will follow Jesus as the flock of Christ Church ride, but how. So next year in 2020, this parish will celebrate its 325th anniversary. I've been your rector for 14 months. And it's been a time of great transition, both within and beyond these walls. And it's time for me to get specific about the dreams I'm dreaming and the visions I see for our parish. What are we becoming as we look to the future? What do we need and want? For little Pen, the newest lamb in our little flock. For every member, young and old, and for anyone who has yet to hear the comforting and convicting good news of Jesus Christ, our Good Shepherd, who will find him here. If we try to please everyone, to be everything to everybody, we are sure to disappoint. Let us instead focus our energy on pleasing God in this time and in this place, as only this flock can. As your bellwether, I promise to preach and prophesy and cast a specific vision for Christ Church. And as the flock, together with our Good Shepherd, we will determine how we are to follow.